Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining. We are continuing our reading. Canto 1. Oh, sorry, Canto 2, Chapter 1, and text number 7. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Shinvatam Sukatha Krishna Punyashravanakirtana Hridiyantastho Hyabhadrani Vidhunoti Suhritsatam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Kantra Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. So please repeat after me. 217. And repeat behind the muted mics. Prayena munayo rajan
Rayena Munayo Rajan
nivritta vidhishedhata
Nivritta Vidishedata
nairgunyastharamante sma
Nailgunyastharamante Sma
gunano kathane hare.
Gunanukathane Hare
Prayena munayo rajan
Rayena Munayo Rajan
nivritta vidhishedhata
Nivritta Vidishedata
नैर्गुण्यस्थारमन्ते स्म
Nailgunyastharamante Sma
गुणानुकथने हरे
Gunanukathane Hare
प्रायेण मुनयो राजन्
Rayena Munayo Rajan
निवृत्ता विधिषेधता
Nivritta Vidishedata
नैर्गुण्यस्थारमन्ते स्म
Nailgunyastharamante Sma
गुणानुकथने हरे.
Gunanukathane Hare
Word for word translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prayena,
Rayena
mainly.
mainly
Munayaha,
Munayaha
all sages.
all sages
Rajan,
Rajan
O king.
O king
Nivritta,
Nivritta
above.
above
Vidhi,
Vidhi
regulative principles.
regulative principles
Shedata,
Shedata
from restrictions.
from restrictions
Nirgunyastha,
Nairgunyastha
transcendentally situated.
transcendentally situated
Ramante,
Ramante
take pleasure in.
take pleasure in
Sma,
Sma
distinctly.
distinctly
Guna anukathane,
Guna Anukathane
describing the glories.
describing the glories
Hare
Hare
of the Lord.
of the Lord.
Translation: O King Parikshit, mainly the topmost transcendentalists who are above the regulative principles and restrictions take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord. Purport: the topmost transcendentalist is a liberated soul and is therefore not within the purview of the regulative principles. A neophyte who is intended to be promoted to the spiritual plane is guided by the spiritual master under regulative principles. He may be compared to a patient who is treated by various restrictions under medical jurisdiction. Generally, liberated souls also take pleasure in describing the transcendental activities. As mentioned above, since Narayana, Hari, the personality of Godhead, is beyond the material creation, his form and attributes are not material. The topmost transcendentalists or the liberated souls realize him by advanced experience of transcendental knowledge, and therefore they take pleasure in the discussion of the transcendental qualities of the Lord's pastimes. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.9, the personality of Godhead declares that his appearance and activities are all divyam, or transcendental. The common man, who is under the spell of material energy, takes it for granted that the Lord is like one of us, and therefore he refuses to accept the transcendental nature of the Lord's form, name, etc. The topmost transcendentalist is not interested in anything material, and his taking interest in the matter of the Lord's activities is definite proof that the Lord is not like one of us in the material world. In the Vedic literatures also, it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord is one, but that he is engaged in his transcendental pastimes in the company of his unalloyed devotees, and that simultaneously he is present as the Supersoul, an expansion of Baldev in the heart of all living entities. Therefore, the highest perfection of transcendental realization is to take pleasure in hearing and describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord and not in merging into his impersonal Brahman existence, for which the impersonalist monist aspires. Real transcendental pleasure is realized in the glorification of the transcendental Lord and not in the feeling of being situated in his impersonal feature. But there are also others who are not the topmost transcendentalists, but are in a lower status, and who do not take pleasure in describing the transcendental activities of the Lord. Rather, they discuss such activities of the Lord formally with the aim of merging into his existence. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I seek your blessings so that I can speak following the mode of Guru Parampara. Vancha kalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Srimad Bhagavatam, every word is a nectar. You know, the more we try to understand it, the more we experience transcendental bliss. It is said in the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma projito Kaitavottara Parmo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam Vastuvam Atra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrevana Mulanam. That Srimad Bhagavatam throws away all kind of material motivated religions Dharma Projita Kaitvotra, Parmo Nirmatsaranam. And this is very, very dear to those who are non-envious. Vedyam Vastavam. It gives you the real substance, the absolute truth. Atra Vastu Shivadam. It is all auspicious. Tapatrivan Mulanam. And it destroys the three kinds of miseries. Adhibhautika, Adhyatmika, and Adidaivika. Then the third verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 113, the author Vyasdev invites all the honest men to read and drink this nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukmukhad amrita dhruva samyutam pibat bhagavatam rasamalayam muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. That this Srimad Bhagavatam is the fruit of the desire tree of the Vedas. The Vedas are known as desire tree because one can fulfill all one's desires: dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religion, wealth, sense gratification, and liberation. All those can be fulfilled from the desire tree of the Vedas. But the fruit is the best part of the tree. There are many parts of the tree, the bark, the leaves, the twigs, but the best part is the fruit. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the fruit of the desire tree of the Vedas. And the author Vyasdev is inviting us, Pibat Bhagavatam. This Srimad Bhagavatam is like a smoothie. It is already digested by Shukadev Goswami, and he is narrating in a form which is very relishable. It is semi-solid and semi-liquid. So Pibat Bhagavatam, Rasam Alayam. Rasam Alayam. It's a rasa is nectar, and alayam it's a
Place.
big, what's that?
Like Pustakale is like a place where books
Yeah,
to library. Like
yeah. So alay is a place for something. So alay is or reservoir. Pustakale means library. It's a reservoir of all kinds of books, and we also have Himalaya. Himalaya is mountain which is full of ice. Hima is ice. So similarly, we have Rasa Malayam. This is full of nectar. This is a reservoir of nectar. Immortal nectar. Anybody who drinks this becomes immortal. So drink again and again and become immortal. And one will faint in ecstasy after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. And then you can wake up and drink some more. So that is Srimad Bhagavatam. In today's verse, so Shukdev Goswami is answering the question of Parikshit Maharaj, what one should hear, what one should remember, what one should worship, what one should chant, and what one should not do. This was the question by Parikshit Maharaj. So Shukdev Goswami has very beautifully said in text 6 that the highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. This was beautifully explained by His Grace Anant Chaitanya Prabhu yesterday, that the end of all processes, whether it is karma, you mean swadharma, you do a person doing his own duties towards his family, towards the society, towards the body, that's called karma. Or a person who is engaged in jnana, in cultivation of transcendental knowledge. We are not this body, we are spiritual beings. Or a person who is into yoga, the Ashtanga yoga, eight limbs of yoga, eightfold yoga process, yama, niyama, asana, dhyana, dharana. pratyahar, samadhi. There's one more. I'm missing that. Yama, niyama, pranayama, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara,
And
dhyana,
dharana.
samadhi.
Yeah.
Right. So samadhi is the final stage where one is completely absorbed in transcendence. So these are the three different processes: karma, jnana, and yoga. All this, the perfection of all of these processes is to remember Krishna at the end of our life. That is the way of perfection for anybody who is going to die. And now, in today's verse, Shukdev Goswami is expanding that those people who are already liberated, they are Nairgunyastha. Nairgunyastha. Guna means the three modes of nature. Nairgunya means above the three modes of nature. That's why Prabhupada translated as transcendentally situated. Transcendence. What does transcendence means? Transcendence means not something metaphysical, not something physical in our experience, physical experience, the worldly experience. That is transcendental. It transcends the material world. So there are three modes: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Anything that we see in this world is categorized in these three modes, or it can be a mixture of these three modes. Our behavior, the food that we eat, the songs that we listen to, the kind of people we associate with, the kind of work I like to do, the kind of determination I have for doing something. All this can be categorized in these three modes. But a person who is liberated means that he is above these three modes. Stha means to stand. It's cognate with the word stand. So Prabhupada translates Nairgunyastha means transcendentally situated. So those people, prayana means most of them, mainly, not all of them, but most of them, they like to glorify Krishna. Gunanu kathane hare. Ramante means they take pleasure in hearing about Krishna. Ramante yogino anante satyananda chidatmani. The yogis derive unlimited bliss, unlimited pleasure by glorifying and by hearing about Krishna. Satyanande chidatmani, who has three features: Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat means eternality, Chit means knowledge, and Ananda means bliss. So they cannot enjoy anything of this world. They only want to enjoy something transcendental which is present in the glories of Krishna. And what is the qualification of these great transcendentalists? They are above any rules and regulations. So I was remembering some verses from Bhagavad Gita. There's a verse in which Prabhupada writes about Srila Madhavendra Puri. Srila Madhavendra Puri, he is a spiritual master of Ishwar Puri, who is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's grand spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Madhavendra Puri, he was always absorbed in chanting the holy names of Krishna. He did not care for his bodily necessities. He was completely dependent on Krishna. There's a story when he visits a village, he visits Vrindavan, and he is simply absorbed in chanting. He is in renunciation. He's a renunciant. So he does not want to beg. He only wants to accept if Krishna sends anything. So he's simply chanting under a tree the holy names of Krishna. And Krishna comes there with a pot of milk as a young cowherd boy. And then he gives the pot of milk to Srila Madhavendra Puri. And Srila Madhavendra Puri accepts it very gratefully, but he he says he asked, Srila Madhavendra Puri asked this cowherd boy, why are you giving this to me? And this boy, Krishna, actually, who is dressed as a cowherd boy, he says that in my village nobody fasts. So this pot of milk is for you. You should not be fasting. Please have this and quench your hunger and thirst. Then Srila Madhavendra Puri asked this cowherd boy, how do you know that I am fasting? And then Krishna said, oh, there were um, some ladies who were passing and they just told me. So, and then he immediately disappears and he's not to be seen. And Srila Madhavendra Puri drinks that milk. It's nectarian, and he actually keeps the pot with him. He breaks the pot into small pieces and he uh, keeps in his cloth so that he can even take that uh, clay pot, eat a little bit every day, because he could realize that this is none other than Krishna. Just by drinking that milk, this could be none other than Krishna who came and gave that pot of milk. So for these kind of people, there is no rules and regulations. For me, I need to wake up and go for Mangal Aarti because I am a neophyte. I need to have a regulated morning program. As Prabhupada says in the second line of the purport, that for a neophyte it is important to follow the regulations as given by the spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada has given us this process of morning program, rising early, attending Mangal Aarti, attending Tulsi Aarti, and chanting your rounds, attending Srimad Bhagavatam, honoring only Krishna Prasadam, going out for preaching, and for other devotees for work, to engage in the world in an enlightened way. So this is for us, but for those people who are liberated souls, who are already absorbed in Krishna consciousness 24 hours a day, for them there are no rules and regulations. So Prabhupada writes about Srila Madhavendra Puri in Bhagavad Gita in the purport. So I want to read from chapter 2, text 53, translation. Chapter 2, text 52. So Krishna is speaking to to Arjuna. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. So Prabhupada says in the purport, when a person factually understands Krishna and his relationship with Krishna, he naturally becomes completely indifferent to the rituals of fruitive activities, even though an experienced Brahmana. Sri Madhavendra Puri, a great devotee and acharya in the line of devotees, says, Sandhya Vandan Bhadramastu Bhavato Bho Snana Tubhyam Namo Bho Deva Pitarascha Tarpana Vido Naham Shama Shamyatam Yatra Kwapi Nishadya Yadhav Kulottamasasya Kamsadvisha Smaram Smaram Agamaharami Tadalam Manne Kim Annena. Translation: O my prayers 3 times a day, all glory to you. O bathing, I offer my obeisances unto you. O demigods, O forefathers, please excuse me for my inability to offer you respects. Now, wherever I sit, I can remember the great descendant of the Yadu dynasty, Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, and thereby I can free myself from all sinful bondage. I think this is sufficient for me. End of quote. And Prabhupada says more to complete the picture. The Vedic rites and rituals are imperative for neophytes. Comprehending all kinds of prayers 3 times a day, taking a bath early in the morning, offering respects to the forefathers, etc. But when one is fully in Krishna consciousness and is engaged in his transcendental loving service, one becomes indifferent to all these regulative principles because he has already attained perfection. If one can reach the platform of understanding by serving By service to the Supreme Lord Krishna, he has no longer to execute different types of penances and sacrifices as recommended in revealed scriptures. So, Srila Prabhupada, he himself, he would just sleep for 1 or 2 hours in the night and maybe sometime in the daytime, but he was translating books all the time in the early morning hours, and then he had a schedule for chanting, for going out for morning walk, for giving Bhagavatam class. Then he would have his conversations, he would answer the letters after the Bhagavatam class. He would have light breakfast, maybe fruits, and then he would be answering correspondence. Then he would have massage, and in the afternoon time he will take a bath after the massage and take prasadam in the lunch, and then he would go for his engagements in the world, or sometimes he will um, talk to people, devotees, disciples, give them darshan. So his schedule is transcendental, and he himself designed the morning program for the disciples. There was no morning programs until maybe 1968 or 69. Prabhupada knew that the devotees who are coming to the Krishna consciousness movement, they need a structure. So he designed the morning program. Nashingarti, Guru Ashtakam, the 8 prayers in glorification of Guru, and Tulsi Arti, all these are required for devotees to chant Hare Krishna, to protect their bhakti, because a neophyte has many doubts and he has many obstacles, anarthas from his past habits, past lives. So we need protection from Nrsingadev for our bhakti. We need the blessings of the spiritual master. We need to have strong gratitude for the spiritual master. And then we need blessings of Tulsi Maharani. Otherwise, we cannot chant the holy names. Simply by theoretically knowing, we cannot do it. So that is the importance of this morning program. If one understands why we are chanting the glorification of Guru, why we are chanting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's the mantra, Panchtattva mantra, why we are chanting Hare Krishna, Tulsi Puja, Nrsinga Arti, then we can really achieve um, the result, and we can be more absorbed into our chanting. It is said that the more we know why we are doing something, the more we can become convinced and do it more mindfully, being conscious. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says that he himself is transcendental to the material world. So anybody who takes pleasure in his activities, he also becomes transcendental. जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्वता त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नयति मामेति सो अर्जुन. One who understands Krishna's birth and activities are transcendental, after leaving his body, present body, he doesn't take birth again, but he goes back to Krishna. This is 4.9, as Prabhupada mentions in the purport. So in general, people think that Krishna is another person. He's like an historical personality. He was able to influence Arjuna's decision, and that's how he made the war happen. So many people see him as a great um, person who can manipulate others' minds. So many times people see Krishna as a person who knows how to manipulate things, because they think Krishna is an ordinary person. He was a great king, little better than me. So he was able to manipulate others. So let me also see what the Bhagavad Gita has. So I can also learn how to manipulate the things around me, people around me. But that is a wrong understanding of Bhagavad Gita. So, and that happens because we see Krishna as just any other ordinary person. However, when we receive Bhagavad Gita from devotees, from pure devotees who have passed this message without adulteration, then we understand the transcendental nature of Krishna, and then we can experience that transcendence in our own life. In Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, there is a verse, Shushrusho Shradadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevana. So that translation of that verse, do you have Vishal translation?
Yeah, just one minute.
Shushrusho Shradadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevana.
Voice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva.
Could you say again, Prabhu, translation?
Is O twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva.
Yeah. Shushrusho. 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 What is the translation for that word, Shushrusho?
One who is engaged in hearing.
Yeah. And there's another verse in first canto, second chapter, which mentions about listening. It's little earlier, before this verse, not this one. But it also mentions that when one is engaged in hearing with transcendental knowledge and detachment, then he is able to attain perfection. Anyways, this particular verse, it mentions that when we are offering service to our superiors, Mahat Sevaya Vipra, when we serve the great devotees of the Lord, then we gain affinity to hearing the messages of Krishna. And that is the perfection of life. Dharma swanushthita pumsam vishwaksena kathasuya notpadedi yadiratim shramevahi kevalam. All kind of dharma is meant to awaken the love for hearing about Krishna. If our dharma does not help us to increase our taste for hearing about Krishna, then it is a useless waste of time.
Was it Tasma Rekena Manasa? That was that the words? Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Dhyaya Pujascha Nityada.
Is it from 1 to?
Yes, but it's
Okay.
I think 1 to 14.
It is.
Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and
What
worship.
is the verse before that, Prabhu?
1 to 13 prove.
Yeah.
Um, अतः पुंभे द्विजश्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रम विभागश सुनिश्चित धर्मस्य संसिद्धे हरितोषणम्.
And 1 to 12?
12 is तच्छ्रद्धानमुनयो ज्ञानवैराग्ययुक्तया
Ah,
पश्यन्ति आत्मनि चात्मानं भक्त्या श्रुतगृहीतया.
yeah, this is the verse which I was.
Okay, okay.
How does it begin?
तच्छ्रद्धानस्य
Shradhana Purusha
मुनयो. Yes.
Munyo Gyan Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmanishatmanam Bhaktya Shrutagritya. And the translation?
A seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the process for us, for neophytes to increase, to go to this level of liberation. So seriously inquisitive sage equipped with transcendental knowledge and detachment, gains affinity. What's it? Tashadhana Muneo Gyan Vairagya Pashyanti cha Atmani cha Atmanam. He can experience the Lord in him. He can experience the presence of the Lord in himself. Pashyanti Atmani cha Atmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grihitya, by listening about Krishna. So Krishna is experienced by listening. Shrutekshana. Shruta is hearing and Ikshana means to see. So we can experience Krishna by seeing. Oh, sorry, we can experience Krishna by hearing. We can see Krishna by hearing. When we go to doctor, you know, then oh, so sorry. When we have some disease or some malady, then somebody asks, "Did you go see the doctor?" But actually, when the doctor sees us, he is actually seeing us through hearing. You know how we are feeling, how we are he inquires from us, and then he can see what's going on in our mental and bodily system, and he can give us some cure. So real seeing is through hearing. Prabhupada also says the highest perfection of transcendental realization is to take pleasure in hearing and describing the transcendental qualities of Lord, and not in merging into his impersonal Brahman existence, for which the impersonalist monist aspires. So there are 5 kinds of liberation, which are explained by Kapil Dev, and one of them is to merge with the Lord. And the devotees never accept this because they cannot engage service in Krishna, to Krishna. To merge means that you experience the eternality feature of Krishna, but there is no service to Krishna. One becomes the part of Brahma Jyoti. Salokya Sarishti Samipya. There is a verse from Kapil Dev. He says that there are 5 kinds of liberation: Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Katvam, Apiyuta, Diyamanam na grihananti vina matsevanam janam. Even if I offer these 5 kinds of liberation to my devotee, they do not accept it unless it is unless there is a service to Krishna. So their pleasure comes from serving Krishna. And the best kind of service is by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and hearing about Krishna. However, there are other kind of transcendentalists who don't want to do this. So there are different levels and gradations. Krishna speaks about them in Bhagavad Gita. There are 3 kinds of people. One who worship themselves as the absolute truth. Second, who worship the demigods. Third, who worship the universal form. These are the different kind of people who do not accept the supremacy of the absolute truth, and they are lower category of transcendentalists. The lowest of these three is one who worships himself as the absolute truth. So this is different kinds of illusion or impartial knowledge. But the complete knowledge is to understand Krishna in the as a super soul in the heart of every living being, and as a supreme personality of Godhead in the spiritual world. So such a person can derive complete happiness. Samashitaye pad pallavaplavam mahat padam punyasho murare bhavam buddhir vatsa padam param padam 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 yad vipdam natesham. This is the prayers of Lord Brahma to Krishna in 10th Canto, chapter 14. For one who has accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Mukunda, or the giver of mukti, the ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoof print. Parampadam, or the place where there are no material miseries, or Vaikuntha, is his goal, not the place where there is danger in every step of life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I think we are almost out of time, but we can take one or two reflections or questions to expand the conversation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. I have quite a few points, but maybe I'll just say one quick thing. You were saying about how the morning program has a lot of importance, and that's why Prabhupada emphasized it. And he wanted his disciples to make progress and so on. So I think you will remember. So Anand Chaitanya Prabhu, you and I were looking at the 64 limbs of bhakti that Rupa Goswami has given, and then we got it printed out on a sheet, and then we tried to map how every limb of the 64, almost every limb, I think 60 or maybe 61 limbs of the 64 limbs were actually, if you just follow the entire morning program, you would cover all of those limbs. So it was very, like, clearly Prabhupada had the, foresight to create a morning program where it leaves no space for you to not do all the 64 limbs. So yes, I just wanted to.
Very nicely done. Yeah, Nikunj Nayak Prabhu.
Oh yes, Nikusha.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Hare Krishna.
Also, maybe not directly related to the class, but I want to congratulate Satwat Prabhu for completing Bhakti Shastri, and Prabhu's on the call. So congratulations, Prabhu.
Thank you, bro. But how did you know?
I saw your email on the channel, Prabhu, for those who completed Bhakti Shastri. So congratulations, Prabhu.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Satwar Prabhu, now you have to come and give class here.
Um, I'll see, bro. It's hard to, manage time. Yeah.
Can give once a week or once every other week.
I'll see. Like, yeah, next 2 weeks I'll be shifting to Mountain View. So after that, maybe I can start. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Sounds good. That's music to my ears. So I look forward to having you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhasya
Grace
kripatya.
Kautukarnav Prabhu ki jai.
Gaur Bhakt Vrind